Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So let's get into this video straight up because there are some things you see and you are like, kind of marveled at some people's thinking because this pan-colored man came out to say, why do I have why do I have to speak up on what is going on all over the world when that is not my field of anything or something like that? And he was insisting that, or he is insisting that what he does on his TikTok is only jokes, right? And how, like he's saying, how do you all expect me to talk about something that I know nothing about? And I am going to say some colored people are part of the problem. Like one of the people that spoke said, this is one of the reasons why slavery and Jim Crow lasted for so long, because some of them saw the truth but refused to speak on it because it is not affecting them. And it is also because that was what they needed. They do not even see us as human, because most time when you see people as human beings, you treat them as human. But when you don't see them as human beings, how do you expect to treat them as human? I mean, we've all been seeing everything going on in Congo, in Sudan. Haiti is also going through it right now, in Palestine and the rest of the world. And you're all, I mean, America is, I don't know how to say it because I don't want anything to happen to, but really, why is it that everything that is in connection to G side is connected to America? You know what?
It's your duty, it's your responsibility as an influencer with a large platform, a huge following, to talk about these very serious world issues. No, it's not. And I won't. I'm not qualified, certified, or educated enough to talk about any of it. And I'm not just going to become an expert on it or just be your puppet and speak on it just to prove I'm a good person or appease all these keyboard warriors, all these people flooding the comment sections of these blue check marks, bullying, harassing, forcing them to regurgitate what everyone else has said just because they have millions of followers. It's weird. You can't stand on your own business. You need me to validate your opinions. I know nothing. I got millions of followers from telling jokes. I'm doing my part on my own time, on my own dime, sharing, supporting, reposting, but I'm not going to use my platform to talk about things I don't know anything about. And I'm not just going to regurgitate what everyone else has already said. If I have something new to bring to the table or something to say, I will. But I have nothing to prove. I gained millions of followers from doing comedy, not being an expert on world issues, and you shouldn't be coming to me to formulate your opinions. I shouldn't be trying to tell you how to think. I'm learning about this stuff following along right there with you. You understand that, right? I got millions of followers, sure, but I never planned on it, and it doesn't make me qualified to talk about anything. That's what you guys need to understand. That's all I gotta say about it. Follow me, I'm pretty funny. It's your duty, it's your responsibility as an influencer with a large platform, a huge following.
This is crazy because up until about 6 minutes ago, I vastly agreed with Mario's viewpoint on this. And it's hilarious because once you get to hear someone speak this out loud, you end up finally hearing how idiotic this approach really is. I do follow Mario, I do think that he's pretty funny, but this just exuded the American mindset, I think, to the maximum. I think that poking a jab at the influential power of an influencer influencing you is probably the most perfect irony I've ever seen on this app. And the reason that this point needs to be talked about more so is that this is a very classic effect of the bystander effect, and I never realized that it was happening to me in the moment. And for those that are not familiar, it's the idea or concept that I'm not going to do it because somebody else is going to. And this is the problem, right? Because as an influencer, regardless of your niche, you have an ability to finally weigh in and give some actual input into something that people might not actually be talking about in your community. And don't get it twisted, I have very much been complacent and not said anything, and that's me taking accountability for them. But ignorance in this type of conversation for the political state of our world and the genocide that's currently happening is just not acceptable. An argument that's later placed in the video is, like, you're not well educated enough to talk about this. But that is your responsibility, to get educated about this, because that is part of the problem, is people aren't educating themselves, which is why they're asking you to talk about that. And even after getting a little bit of information, if you still don't feel comfortable talking about it, I think that is okay, but you should be directing people to different other platforms and sources that can talk about these type of issues. And that in itself should just be the bare minimum. That's it. I think that the rebuttal would end up being in this conversation, oh, does this mean my entire platform has to become this? No, that's not what I'm gonna do, but this is a conversation that has to happen. There should be sprinkles that are going on, and that should be at the utmost of importance for you. I have 20,000 something followers, right? Mario has millions. And I think that to look at this situation and to not think that you could be talking about a conversation that needs to be talked about is literally the definition of idiocracy. For anyone that is trying to get more information about this that doesn't have, I feel like, a really good source, me personally, I follow, I'm sorry if I butcher his name, I follow Hunter Kaini, and he gives a lot of information to this that I think is really well done. So yeah, that's all.
It's your duty, it's your responsibility as an influencer with a large platform, a huge following.
I get it. Just say you don't care about black and brown people. I understand. I don't understand why this upsets people, especially men like you, when we're just asking for you to use your voice because your voice has a lot more value socially than my voice, even though your voice is stupid. You say you don't know enough, you're not an expert. It takes a few minutes, it takes a few hours, it takes a couple of days. If you don't know enough now, this far into the genocide of the Palestinian people, that tells me that you're actually, by definition, ignorant. Because it's been all over the news, it's been all over social media, though social media tends to be skewed towards whatever you actually actively engage in. So you're not engaging in any political fanfare, political information, political discourse, discussion. And that tells me that you want to live in this bubble. And that uncaring, apathetic attitude is not just apathetic, it's pathetic. You're disgusting. The sort of indignation you have in your video is so disgusting because it is diva behavior. It's JLo being asked to donate to the schools that she went to in elementary, middle, high school because she invokes her past in order to get relatability points, and she said no. It's seeing a homeless person, and when they ask you for money, you get angry at them and tell them to get a job, or you get really disgusted and you can't even hide your disgust on your face as you say no to them. All that being said, I wish you the worst.
It's your duty, it's your responsibility as an influencer with a large platform, a huge following.
So over 400,000 people follow me on this account, which means that at a bare minimum, even if I don't post anything for days, I'm getting millions and millions and millions of views every week. That's doing nothing. So if I'm going and exerting the extra effort and posting videos and editing content and engaging with the people that follow me and responding to messages and things like that, you can get a pretty good idea of what my personal reach is. Being given this platform, yes, it's something I worked extremely hard for. It's something that I dedicate. I spend probably 40 or 50 hours a week working on content. And sometimes it doesn't make me any money. Sometimes it makes me a lot of money. This is a position I'm in to where I sit at home and I do this all day. And if you have an ego big enough to where your thoughts and your words are filling your space and there's no room for anyone else's story, there's no room for anyone else's perspective, that's really upsetting, and that's quite frankly kind of scary. I feel strongly, and always have, well before I was even a fucking person with a following online. Community is where things start. Community is where things end. You have to build a community that relies on your word. They trust your word. So if you suddenly, in the midst of a global genocide, suddenly don't feel like your word's important, what is that going to do to your community? What is that telling your audience? Yes, I'm a content creator. Yes, I spend my time making things, but it's just for you. I don't want the real world to come into this. This is our little space. This is the real world. You exist in a real situation, in a real time in history. You've been given a tool. This is something that I used to dream of having. Being able to roll over in bed every day and look at my phone and talk to millions of people from around the world who all want to talk to me, who will listen to whatever I say. I could sell hats, I could sell t-shirts, I could shell some fucking program to make money, or I could talk about important things. I can try my best every day when I wake up to do the right thing with the information that I'm seeking out, not being given. We as an audience need to really curate the people who we lift up in the future, whether it be on TikTok, YouTube, X, whatever platform, because these are the people that will be influencing decisions. Okay? I can wear a hat in a viral video and sell thousands of a fucking beanie from small town Cape Cod all across the world. I can wear a kufiya in my videos. I can talk about Palestine in my videos. Let's not be so shallow, especially when we're given the gift of a fucking lifetime with an audience. Wow.
It's your duty, it's your responsibility as an influencer with a large platform, a huge following.
I'm all for understanding people and their struggles and their inability to fully give their whole heart to a movement because they have their own priorities going on. I sympathize with that. But to make a whole post about how you're not going to advocate for disadvantaged people because you think you're trying to turn it around to be some sort of thing that we're trying to control you to do and not just something that you should be able to willingly do yourself out of the kindness of your own heart because you care about your fellow human being. It's just so wild, and there's just so many mental gymnastics that you're going through to make it seem like it's a thing where you feel like you're being controlled and not a thing where you just have to exercise an ounce of humanity and use a part of your platform to, you know, help disadvantaged people be seen. It's just so insane how you guys are trying to trick this into being some sort of, you know, agenda that people are pushing onto you that you don't want to be a part of. Shut the fuck up. I'm so tired of you people trying to find different avenues to make it seem like this is something that you guys should not care for or something that is just below you. But like I said, no one has a gun to your head. Do what you want to do.
It's your duty, it's your responsibility as an influencer with a large platform, a huge following.
Okay, so if you're ever wondering why did slavery in America last for so long, or why did Jim Crow last for as long as it did, it's for a myriad of reasons, but this type of moderate talk plays a key factor in keeping these systems alive. Like, no bullshit, if you want these white supremacist systems or apartheid systems to keep functioning as normal, then you need people like this. You need people who don't give a fuck, who don't care to learn about what's going on, and people who can't stand for anything so that they'll go for anything. And look, the way things are going in this country, you need to remember who these folks are, because they will quite literally let you die if it means that they're not the ones helping you and they get to maintain their right to comfort. And if you think I'm bullshitting when I say this, please look up what certain white neighborhoods did to black folks during Hurricane Katrina. And also, what I said is coming from the words of Malcolm X and MLK.
Form a huge following to talk about these very serious world issues. No, it's not. And
It's been 5 months of us watching people in Palestine record their life experiences as they are being unalived by our tax dollars. I think people that are still like saying, oh, I just don't know what to say, I need to be educated, I'm just a funny person, I don't know what to say about it. Why do you expect me to speak about it? You don't need a PhD. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you making yourself the victim? Why are you making yourself like superior to other people? It's like people are asking for your help in a moment where they're literally being unalived, and you're like, well, I'm just a funny person. I'm not supposed to be talking about this. And while I don't think it's okay to bully people, like, yeah, I don't know what happened with Elise Myers, but yeah, she's generally a nice person, whatever. But if you have a large platform, you absolutely have a means to facilitate communication and to educate people. And if after 5 months you still haven't educated yourself because you're just a funny person, oh my god, you're just dumb, you just can't talk about stuff. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, don't even talk about it then, because you're just an idiot. Like, I thought this guy was actually just a funny guy. You know, I mean, he may be, but he's also just whatever. I'm not even gonna say anything. It's just like, that was the lamest video I've ever seen. That's just how genuinely most of these influencers feel. They feel like we should have no expectations of them. Like, they're just there making their coin, just leave them alone. They figured out how to make a lot of money and win at capitalism. That's all they want to do. And I'm just so tired of it. And it's like, yeah, what is that influencer gonna do? It's not about what they're gonna do. It is just a matter of these people are asking us to share this information, to help them in any way that they can, and you're just like unwilling to even just do that. Oh my god. Like, whatever.
Influencer with a large platform, a huge following to talk about these very serious world issues. No.
So I'm not even really here necessarily to speak on what he said. I'm more interested in talking to people in his comments. 'Cause I'm finding this very interesting theme of, especially when it comes to Palestinian liberation, a number of people taking on this belief system that people are trying to hold large creators and influencers more accountable than politicians. And what that says to me first is that you likely don't get any of the videos or care enough, which is honestly, I'm not here to judge you, but care enough to look at what people have been doing to politicians. I promise you, your favorite influencers are not getting thousands of emails every day, thousands of calls every day, trying to demand for a ceasefire for Palestinians. I promise people are not rolling up on your favorite influencers when they're eating or out, trying to get them demanding that they fight for a ceasefire. So to equate what people are asking for from influencers to being the same as what people are asking for from politicians is being incredibly disingenuous. But there's a saying, and many people have heard it before, and it's the premise of once you know better, you do better. And to pretend like October 7th did not fundamentally change the lives of millions of Americans and people around the world, probably billions of people, would be to completely deny what this uprising of Palestinian liberation has been. People have strong opinions and feelings about everything. People have strong opinions about racism, homophobia, xenophobia, transphobia, ableism, any form of bigotry and hatred that you can imagine, people have strong opinions about. People actively fight against those things. And what you are seeing is a symptom as opposed to a cause. You are seeing people be incredibly vocal and passionate about Palestinian liberation because many people are coming to the understanding now about how deeply connected Palestinians' liberation is to ours. So that is going to impact the ways in which people feel like interacting with people with large platforms. And to pretend like this hasn't been a growing change since 2016 is to completely ignore the last couple years. And I recognize for many people there's a desire to get back to what 2016 was, or even prior to knowing what COVID was. But as we live in a world that changes very dramatically and very rapidly, particularly due to technology, you cannot be upset at people having a reaction as opposed to the cause of the issue. If you are upset that people are flooding people's comments about Palestine, and albeit I don't always think it's in the greatest ways, and I don't always think that it's in the most impactful ways that it can be done, but people are doing that to bring awareness. And if that is more upsetting to you than the mass unaliving of people, then our governments have worked, and you should be pissed off at our governments even more. They have worked to convince you that people who are fighting for liberation, even if it's not in the best ways, even if it's not in the most palatable ways, if they have convinced you that those people should have your ire, should have your anger, should have your frustration, when you can barely afford to fucking eat, but then you look over at Israel and they're fucking feeding their entire fucking country and sending their entire country to school and shit, and people are able to get universal health care, while at the same time massacring hundreds and thousands of people, displacing over 2 million people. And you can't even make it day to day, and the only way you can escape is to get onto apps like TikTok or Twitter or whatever it is. And because you can't escape the way you want to, because you can't just move away from all of the issues of the world, you're more mad at the people bringing it up. I'm telling you now, they have won. They have won against you. And your life is never, it is never going to be able for you to fully escape. You are never going to have that again, unless we do something. And if we don't do anything, instead of being mad at the people that you guys are rightfully saying folks should be mad at fucking politicians who folks are mad at. I'm telling you, people are literally getting arrested out here. People have been outside of Anthony Blinken's house for weeks. If you are truly mad at those people who are trying to bring awareness to a world issue, to a problem, they have won. Now, whether or not they are going to continue to win is ultimately up to you. But I just need people to recognize that your life is never going to be the same. You are never going to be able to escape what is happening, particularly if you live in the United States or other Western countries, because our governments are the one perpetrating it, and they're not going to stop. And if you think that it stops just in the Middle East, I know many of you know better, because the world, you're seeing it happen with your family and friends who are getting sick, who aren't able to make ends meet. You're not able to hang out with people the way you used to. You're not able to have the fulfilling interactions the way you used to. You're not able to go online and escape because you can't. There's so much happening in the world. Those things are permanent unless we make a change.
So this is all I got from this video, and I am going to say that the truth is that if you are thinking that you've got allies, especially palm-colored people, I am sorry, you do not have anything, and you really have to forget about them, because this young man sounds so dumb. Not just only dumb, humanity is far away from him, because sometimes what we look at is humanity. Excuse me, I think I'm far away from the camera. Humanity is something we look out for. I am absolutely not going to see people going through a lot of things and not speak up, right? Especially when I am an influencer and I have huge platform. And he is talking about only making jokes, right? And he thinks that because he only makes jokes that he cannot talk about anything going on in the world. And he talked about him having to why would he talk on something he doesn't know anything about? See, it takes you nothing to make a research or find out what is going on and then speak on it. And you must not be a professional, or you must not be a lecturer or a teacher or well-known, like you know everything to speak on it, because I see a lot of Black people and other people speaking on it. Most of them do not even know how the whole thing started, but they were able to make research and then get grounded in it and talk about it. So if you really want to talk about something going on in the world, I think you do not have to go back to school or trying to read up the whole world to talk about it. The truth is that you all already know the kind of people you are, and all you all know how to do best is how to hide under your palm-coloredness and then think it's okay. Because most of the things that is going on all over the world, if you look at the genocide going on, especially in Congo, Haiti is going through it right now, caused by your own people. I mean, United States is also part of everybody's problem. Sudan is going through it, Palestine and the rest of the world, right? And then I keep asking myself, why is it that when you look at everything going on in the world, USA, I mean, America has something to do with all of it, all the genocide going around like all over. And then if anybody is hoping that one day palm-colored people are going to wake up or sit up and talk about some certain things going on, especially when they have the platform, is just telling a turtle to run and all that. And that really sucks. The fact that you are going to see something spoiling, and because you don't want to be part of it, because some of them are just into that money they make from TikTok, and they do not want anything that will probably lose followers and all that. But I think we can do better as human beings, because when we come together as humans, first of all, you have to see people as humans. So some of them do not even see us or as humans. So how do you expect them to talk about what is going on around us and all that? Like I keep saying, most of them are just horrible. The fact that something is not happening to them, they are not experiencing it. Why do I have to talk about it? Of course, they are not supposed to talk about it. That's why they sit back and watch and see people, being on a light and all that. And all they want to do is just to make money from TikTok, sit back in their comfort zone and be happy and merry, because they do not know the struggle. It is only when you know the struggle that you understand that what these people are going through is really everything has been televised. You see everything going on. It's not like we are not seeing it. You see all this happen, and all you could say is come out to raise your voice on yourself, not even on people watching you. It's really dumb. It's really I don't know what else to use to but I think it's really very stupid that people do things like this. I think we can do better as human beings, not even as anything, not as a palm color, not as a Black person or anything. We can be our brother's keeper, because when you are being human enough, you can take care of other people. But if you are not human enough, how do you want to care about other people? And I don't know, but some people do not have, I don't know how to say this, but some people's platform is as good as not important or useful. It's only useful for them because they make money out of it and all that, but it's not useful for most, because they think if I say something like this, I am going to lose followers, and the money that I'm making, I ain't going to come in again. Can you imagine having that 5 million, a whole 5 million? Like one of the people that spoke said, your voices are really well, we don't have that opportunity. because when you have like, for our voices to be heard, so it is so easy for them to like come out and speak up and people listen to it, but it's not that easy for us. So what is stopping you from using that? Do you know what 5 million followers? It's a whole lot. I mean, some people can do better as humans. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.